Next time when you make a terrible decision, just remember that at least you didn't resurrect an unstoppable killing machine. Welcome back, guys. It's Motion Recaps again, and today we're covering the 2001 sci-fi horror, Jason X. In 2008, mass murderer Jason Voorhees is captured by the United States government and held at the Crystal Lake Research Facility. After numerous failed attempts to kill Jason, government scientist Rowan LaFontaine suggests putting him in cryogenic stasis. Dr. Wimmer arrives with the soldiers, hoping to further research Jason's ability to heal from lethal wounds. However, Jason breaks free from his restraints and kills the soldiers and Dr. Wimmer. Rowan lures him into the cryogenic pool and activates it, but Jason manages to stab her in the abdomen. Cryogenic fluid spills into the sealed room, freezing them both. 445 years later, the professor and his group of students find them, and they bring Rowan and Jason on their ship. Things quickly go wrong when Jason wakes up and kills her. He begins roaming the ship in search of new victims. Now we're in search of something too. We're in search of you. So take a moment right now and subscribe to this channel if you'd like. Tap on that like button if you're enjoying the recap thus far. And on top of that, hit that bell icon to be notified of when we have another recap ready for you to enjoy. Alright, let's get on with Jason X. Jason is finally captured and contained by the US military. A soldier is guarding him, and he gets really uncomfortable because Jason is constantly staring at him. The guy takes a blanket and throws it over Jason's head. A doctor named Wimmer shows up with his personnel, and he meets Rowan, who is in charge of monitoring Jason. She tells Dr. Wimmer that it's not safe to transport Jason, but the doctor wants to do research on him because of his great regenerative abilities. Dr. Wimmer tells Rowan that she's not in charge anymore, and he goes with his men to take Jason. However, when one of his men takes off the blanket from Jason, everything changes. Jason shows up, and he begins killing everyone. He kills Dr. Wimmer by throwing a rod at him. Rowan quickly finds out that Jason is now free, and she immediately takes a shotgun and runs. Rowan lures Jason into a room with a freezing chamber, where she outsmarts him and freezes him. However, Jason pulls up a decisive strike when he stabs Rowan with his machete. She falls to the ground, and she gets frozen together with Jason. 445 years later, Professor Lowe and his students find the bodies of Rowan and Jason. A student named Azrael messes with Jason's body, and he pays for that with his arm. An android, KM-14, comes to help him. She quickly injects him with painkillers, and she closes the wound. While the group is getting back to their ship, we can see that the Earth is one big wasteland. On the ship, Professor Lowe orders two of his students, named Kinsa and Adrian, to check Jason and to find something more about him. Lowe then meets with a sergeant named Brodsky, and three students, Suneron, Waylander, and Janessa, plus the android. They reattach Azrael's arm first, and then they proceed to close Rowan's wound. A student named Stoney shows up in the room where Jason is, and he gets really touchy with Kinsa. That annoys Adrian, and she tells him that they're free to go. Adrian stays, and she begins cutting Jason up. She takes his eyeball for some reason, and she dips it in nitrogen. Oddly weird detail. Lowen and the others wake Rowan up. She's scared and confused, and Lowen explains to her how they found her. He also tells her that the year is 2455, and with that, he tells her how humans live on another planet called Earth 2. Lowe then goes to contact his banker, Dieter Perez. Lowe tells him about his finding and how he plans to make a lot of money with Rowan because she's from the past, and many people will pay to talk to her. However, Dieter tells him that Jason is worth more because he's a famous killer and he has amazing regenerative ability. Lowe then gets an idea to unfreeze and sell Jason. Adrian is studying Jason's cells, and she doesn't notice Jason getting up. He grabs her hair, dips her head in the nitrogen, and he smashes it against a desk. Jason then grabs a new weapon before venturing out to find more victims. Rowan is now with Lowe and the others, and she finds out that they brought Jason on the ship as well. She tells everyone that he's an unstoppable killing machine, and that Lowe made a huge mistake by bringing him on board. Lowe assures her that everything is alright, but Rowan demands to see Jason's body. Everyone goes to check it out, only to find Adrian's dead body. Sergeant Brodsky immediately alerts his personnel that they have a threat on board the ship. Brodsky tells everyone to get to Lab 1. At that time, Kinsa and Stoney are making out, and they hear the announcement. Stoney opens up the door, only to be killed by Jason. Kinsa runs to Lab 1, and she tells the others what happened. Azrael and a guy named Dallas are playing an alien shooter simulator. Jason shows up, and they think he's part of the game. Jason kills both of them in-game, and the guys turn off the game, only to find out that Jason is real. Brodsky sees his men, Kicker, Briggs, Condor, Sven, and Gecko. He gives them orders to find Dallas and eliminate Jason. A ship's engineer named Crutch is working on something when Jason appears behind him, ready to make a kill. However, luck is on the engineer's side because Brodsky shows up with Condor and Sven. They shoot Jason. After wasting tons of ammo, they stop, only to find out that Jason is missing. Brodsky tells Crutch to go to Lab 1. Then the other grunts show up. They investigate, and Sven goes down first. Jason snaps his neck like a twig. The next to go is Condor. Jason pushes him on a drill. The others find them, and they scatter around to look for the killer. Jason takes Gecko, and he slits her throat. Kicker finds Jason, and he starts shooting at him. Jason falls on a giant spike, and Kicker assumes that he's dead. But Jason gets up, and he slices him in half. The group in Lab 1 hears the screams of agony and Kicker's dying words. Brodsky is carefully looking around, and he finds Briggs' dead body. He continues to explore, but he gets ambushed by Jason, who stabs him in the stomach. In Lab 1, Lo and the others hear banging on the door, and to their luck, it's just Crutch. Sunderon lets him in, and Crutch tells them what happened. Lo then makes a plan to reach Solara's space station. There, the armed personnel will be able to stop Jason and save them. After some time passes, the ship arrives near Solaris, and the ship's pilot, Lou, contacts the station control tower. However, Jason shows up behind Lou, and he kills the poor pilot. The ship then just hurls forward, causing a lot of damage to the space station. Everyone in Lab 1 feels the impact, and they see they pass the station. Lo tells them that they will just turn back, but then the station explodes. Lo tries to assure the others that they're in the part of space where traffic is high. Sunderon sends the call for help, and then something bangs on the door. Everyone panics, thinking that it's Jason. Rowan gets closer to hear what it could be, and then Jason breaks a glass panel behind Lo. Everyone escapes, leaving Lo alone with Jason. Lo tries to reason with the killer, and Jason is acting really peacefully. He sees his old machete, and he takes it. Lo feels relieved. The others make a plan to leave the ship in a shuttle. They split up. Crutch and Waylander head to the bridge to fix the controls, while the others head to the shuttle. Sunderon and KM leave the rest of the group, so Sunderon can upgrade her. Rowan finds Brodsky, and he's alive somehow. Then she goes to check on Janessa. Waylander and Crutch make their way to the bridge, and when they arrive, they find Lou. Or to say it better, pieces of Lou. Then they get a call from Rowan, and she tells them that she found Brodsky, and that she needs someone to come there to help her with him. Waylander goes, and he leaves Crutch alone. He meets with Rowan, but there's not a trace of Brodsky. At the bridge, Jason appears, holding Lo's head. Crutch informs the others about Jason. Jason then shoves Crutch's face into some electric installations. Kinsa then makes the stupidest decision, by locking herself in the shuttle. She panics and starts up the shuttle, but it's still connected to the ship. Because of that, the shuttle explodes. Rowan, Janessa, and Waylander are surprised by Jason, who slowly begins walking towards them, ready to soak his machete with their blood. However, Sunderon shows up, and an upgraded KM shows up with him. Jason throws a machete at her, but that does nothing to her. Jason and KM begin to fight, and honestly, she's kicking his ass. Plus, she has guns. However, Jason manages to overpower her, but KM is saved by Brodsky, who stabs Jason. KM gets up and she fires at Jason. She blows his arm and his leg off. Then she makes an enormous hole in his chest, then blows a piece of his head, and she throws his machete at him as her combo finisher. Everyone feels relieved because Jason is dead. They go to the lab, where they put Brodsky on a machine that will heal him, and soon he's like new. Waylander checks the stats on the ship through a computer, and he sees that the ship is heavily damaged. It will explode soon if they don't do something. Suddenly, they get a call from another spaceship that received their distress call. Waylander and Janessa communicate with the pilot, and he tells him that he needs 45 minutes to get there. Janessa informs him that they do not have enough time because the ship is so damaged, but then Rowan comes up with an idea. She consults with Brodsky and the others if they can blow up a long hallway to separate themselves from the damaged part of the ship, and Brodsky tells her that it's possible. They then head out to set the explosive charges. Then we see Jason's body. A machine next to it turns on. The group is setting up the charges when they get surprised by the new Jason. He evolved thanks to nanotechnology. KM shoots at him, but he's now bulletproof. He takes her head off in one punch. She's still alive, and Sunderon grabs her head. Then he smacks them around. Janessa opens the door, and everyone besides Waylander escapes. Brodsky shows up without knowing what's going on. Rowan tells him that Jason was resurrected, and Brodsky tells him to blow the charges. However, Waylander has a detonator. Waylander takes the detonator and activates it. The rescue ship shows up, and everyone's happy because of that. But Jason is still alive. He makes a hole in the door, and Janessa gets sucked out. The others manage to escape, and they flee to the room where the rescue ship will connect with their ship. However, their exterior motor does not have any power, and someone needs to spacewalk to fix it. Brodsky volunteers. He gets the suit, and he goes out. He gets to the control panel, and he begins to fix it. Rowan is fixing the inside part of the panel, while Sunderon is fixing the things on the computer. Jason shows up, but Sonoran activates a holographic illusion to buy them more time. An illusion of Camp Crystal Lake appears, and Jason finds 2 teenagers camping outside. He puts them into sleeping bags and then beats the life out of them. The survivors manage to fix the door, but an explosion throws them to the ground. They manage to get to the rescue ship, but Sonoran leaves KM. Rowan goes back to retrieve it, but Jason sees her. She rushes back to the rescue ship, and to her luck, Broski shuts the door and prevents Jason from coming to the rescue ship, which immediately leaves. Rowan and Sonoran watch a huge explosion, and they see Jason coming towards them. To their luck, Broski's there too. He grabs Jason, and the 2 of them hurl towards Earth 2. Then we see a couple watching the sky, and they see a falling star. The girl then tells the boy that the star landed at a nearby lake, and then they go to check it out. The movie ends there, with a view of Jason's mask at the bottom of the lake. And that was our recap of the movie Jason X. Do you guys remember the movie that started it all? The original Friday the 13th? Now that was some scary stuff. Share with me your thoughts about this franchise in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you've not yet already done so, like this video, and hit that bell icon to be notified of when we got another motion recap ready for you to enjoy. That's all for now, and we'll see you next time.